Sophie Kotok. Welcome to the Trails Collective interview series. How are you tonight?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
You have a beautiful new haircut, and I cannot wait to hear all about your most recent race at Cayuga Trails 50, which you won. And that's really the only race that's like sort of happened around here, and it actually was put on by the founder of the Trails Collective, Ian Golden. So why don't we just start there and tell me about the race? Like, what made you decide to do this race in the middle of a pandemic?
Ooh, that's a good question. I actually signed up for it kind of on a whim, like 2 weeks before it was going to start or something. So I was originally targeting Twisted Branch for this summer as my first 100K. And as sort of a B race leading up to that, I was going to do the Finger Lakes 50, but that got canceled. And so I was planning on just kind of informally doing my own little solo 40 miler or something instead. But then I have a couple friends who were going to do Cayuga 50K, and they were like, please come camp with us and sign up. What the hell? And so I looked at what the protocols were going to be that Ian had posted. And I was comfortable with all the changes that were happening, and I'm also comfortable with frequent changes in plans, which is necessary at this time because things would keep changing as new protocols were being necessary. But so I was seeing, yeah, we we're gonna have masks on at all the aid stations, no crew, no spectators, and I thought that, yeah, it's gonna kind of be harder because people, not nearly as many people are cheering you on and supporting you, but it's definitely for the best. So I felt comfortable with that. So I signed up because I like to run, and it'd be nice to have a place where there are built-in water stations, which is super nice. And yeah, and that happened.
And you won.
Yeah, totally unexpected, kind of a miracle, but
Hey, I mean, this year is going to go down in history, and you just helped make history.
whoa.
Yes, there's gonna be like like just a 2020 Cayuga Trails the
I
year.
guess so. I gotta say, it was very interesting seeing how it turned out in the end. Because there were the starts were in waves, like 3 people would start at a time every 3 minutes or so. It was impossible to know how I did at the end because everybody started at different times. So basically, all I was aware of was the fact that on my second loop, so the race is like a 25-mile loop that you do twice. And on the second time around, I was alone everywhere. Like I didn't see any other people because the 50K people were finishing. And I was like, where are all the 50-mile people? Turns out most of them were dropping out because it was so dang hot.
Yes.
um, yeah, so this one really, it did not take speed because the way that you deal with conditions like this is you just have to be super patient and accommodating and give yourself grace because like my strategy was literally be conservative and stay cool, get the core temperature down. So literally every time I would cross a stream, I'd sit down in it and take like 30 seconds and just get wet. And that was my strategy. And it seems to have worked because I finished.
Wait, how many stream crossings were there?
Well,
Did I do the wrong race like 2 years ago? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. So I know the course was significantly changed. So part of what
Okay.
made it also really challenging was the fact that there were 2 new sections that were added, and both of them were super bushwhacky. Like they were
Yes.
not
Yes.
established trails. I'm friends with the crew chief at one of the aid stations in Buttermilk, and she was telling me that the fastest time anybody in the entire 50-mile course did that 5.5 mile section, the fastest time was an hour and 10 minutes, which is a long time for the fastest of the crew going through it.
Yeah. So a couple months ago, Ian, it was supposed to be Ian, Amelia, and I were like going to just run in Treatment and Buttermilk, and Ian decides to take us on the new section of the course. And to be fair, we finished that and I was like, don't think I'm going to run that this year. Like, no, doesn't sound like my kind of, it was like, there was no trail. And then like you were running on the side of something that was like this. And I was just like,
your whole body's tilted, that kind of.
Yeah, I was like, I think he designed this just so that I die. Like this might be like, and so I was just like, Ian, I don't think I can make it this year. And then right after that, I decided I haven't been running long at all. So I wasn't even in the ballpark. And I honestly thought it would have gotten canceled. I didn't read because I just am not too into racing right now anyway. Like even like with all the protocols and stuff, I just have kind of like blanket, I'm not okay with this. So I didn't read any of it, but I heard it was very well done. And based on like from what I've seen, from what people have told me, and then when I did reread it, I heard that was done very well. But I didn't even think it was going to happen because everything going on. So so everybody started.
The other ones, no, not surprising.
So everybody started like 3 minutes away from each other, or
like 3 people at a time with 3-minute increments about.
Okay, and you all had to wear masks the whole time?
You had to wear masks whenever you were in an aid station area. And you didn't have to wear a mask while you were actually running. But of course, it's highly encouraged if you're passing someone face to face. And as you know, those are popular trails. So whenever I would go, like when it started getting to the mid part of the day, whenever I'd go down the Gorge Trail on either Buttermilk or Treatment, I would often just pull up my buff that I was using because there were lots of hikers.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like,
but was it, okay, it was like 100 degrees. Like, that's like, it was 100 degrees.
Yeah, well, another part of my strategy that I think really worked well was the fact that I didn't know how hot it was. I didn't let anybody tell me what the temperature was. So all I knew was that it was nice and temperate at 6 a.m. And then it gradually, like a frog in boiling water, it just gradually gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And then I don't know exactly how hot it was. So just psychologically, I didn't have it in my brain that, oh my God, it's so hot, I can't do this. So I didn't really give myself that chance to doubt it because I know that I would make that mistake all the time in training runs because I'm like, oh, check the weather, it's 92 degrees, time to go for a run, this is gonna suck. And confirmation or self-fulfilling prophecy rather, it does, because I'm telling myself it's going to suck.
Yeah.
So here I just get in all the creeks, stay wet, don't know exactly what the temperature is, and it turns out way better.
Yeah, on that day I ended my workout and I laid down in like a painted section in like a handicap painted section in a because it was the cool part, and I was like, I just need to like take a little bit of a nap. And it was like 9:30 in the morning, so it's still not super hot, but it was hot already. Like, good for you. So how long were you out there?
12 hours and 7 minutes.
Oh my God. So my roommate's mom drove here from Michigan yesterday, and it took her 12 hours. And I was just thinking, like, the only thing I can do for 12 hours is sleep. Oh God, good for you. And so I was looking on your ultra sign up, and this was your first 50 miler? Oh goodness. That's like the next one is just going to be so much better.
I know. It's going to be so easy to PR.
Yes. Yeah. And like really you can't get any like worse conditions. I mean, unless you do like, I don't know, Beast of Burnin' in like a blizzard or something, but no, yeah, ultimate PR. That's great.
I know. And I'm easily a winter person. So like I do not mind the snow. It's okay that it slows you down. I can handle being cold because I can warm up. All I got to do is run. But the summer is very challenging for me.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time trying to acclimate.
Yeah. Well, I think the last time I saw you was Frozen Branch, right?
Yeah, February.
Did you do the 50K? Did you do the?
No, I just did the 25K. Okay. Took me 4 hours.
Hey, I mean, that's okay. It was like snowy out there, and
I know.
I saw you at the end. You were looking pretty chipper.
I know. Yeah, second female. It took 4 hours. It's like similar. Like that just says something about those conditions.
You just got that mindset that you can just keep grinding.
I
I
guess
need to
so.
channel that mindset at some point, but
Keep feeding me, and I can keep going.
it's like it's on the to-do list. Like it's like there. It's like work on your mindset, but I just it's low on the to-do list.
Doesn't seem like that.
So I think the first time I ran with you actually was last year, the day after Cayuga, and I think we talked like the whole race, and
Well, it was like half of it.
you were wearing flip-flops.
It was not flip-flops. They were sandals. Flip-flops doesn't have a heel.
All right,
well,
flips, whatever you want to call them.
They were, I don't know. They were minimalist running sandals. I meant to run in shoes, but I forgot them. But I did have my running sandals in the car, so I just wore those, and that was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfectly fine. Did you run in sandals at Cayuga?
No, I saw someone doing it, but I decided to have more protection for the long grind.
Solid. What's the longest you run in those?
And the sandals,
Yeah.
I think like 12 miles or something.
Okay.
They're really nice because I don't feel like my feet need any rehab after using them, just from like any pounding against the front of the shoe and gone downhills and things like that. But they get really challenging in super rocky terrain because they're thin and pointy rocks puncture. Well, just they feel like they're puncturing.
Yeah, I can imagine. How did you get started running barefoot? Like I mean, I know like it was a big thing a while ago, but kind of fell out of favor.
Yeah. I give it a lot of I'm not like a diehard either way. So I think cuz I guess how I got started, I never really got started. That's just how I grew up. I grew up thinking shoes were the not preferred way to go, and just not necessarily running because I didn't start running until like 5 years ago. But um, in any time being outside, if there was an option not to wear shoes, I took it. And like me and my twin brother would do that all the time. And so when I started running, it just seemed like a natural extension. It was like if I can get away with not wearing shoes, gonna do that. So I do dog walks every day, and I always do it barefoot unless it's really cold out. And I am known, I think, by the neighbors for it because they comment lovingly. I think they seem to be very amused by me. But yeah.
So did you read Born to Run and you were like, oh yes, the Tarahumara, that's the way to go?
I did read Born to Run, but I was kind of already on the train there. And again, like I say, I still wear shoes a lot of the time. But I just I like to play, I guess is how I would put it. It's not because I think that, oh yeah, you gotta go this way or that way. It's fun to play with different options and see how the body feels.
Mm-hmm. And you've never I know when I would wear Ultra, or even I tried Scoras for a little while, it just hurt my shins after a little while. Like I just maybe just because I didn't grow up with it or whatever, but the pounding would just, and I also I run on the road, so maybe that's another reason. You're probably mostly trail, but yeah.
See, I had the opposite experience actually. So my first pair of running shoes when I went to MedVed in Rochester for the first time and they fitted me was the traditional style with the elevated heel and medium cushion, pointed toe, and that because I think it would raise my heel, I'd get shin splints and just mild ones. It was just the way that it would alter my form. And when I switched to, I run in ultras if I'm not in the super minimalist stuff, and that's zero drop. And so I always do zero drop. And I don't use those muscles in the front of my shins nearly as much. It's more like calf strength, really.
Yeah, I mean, my feet are just, I have the weirdest feet, so I just, Saucony girl for life. But That's really cool. So you didn't start running until 5 years ago, you said. So what did you grow up? Did you grow up playing sports?
I grew up detesting all organized sports of any kind. I I was a whitewater canoeer in starting about middle school. So my mom took me to lessons in Golden, Colorado, where they have a whitewater park there, and we would learn from a friend of ours who, well, for your information, whitewater canoeing is an Olympic sport, and he did that when he was younger, and so now he was a teacher, and so we learned whitewater canoeing, and we would do that every weekend. And then when I went to college, and I loved hiking a lot. I was a big hiker in Colorado, but and when I went to college, nobody knew what whitewater canoeing was, so I joined the whitewater club, doing mostly kayaking, and I got my instructor's certification, and I would teach whitewater kayaking while I was in college, and so that was kind of my sport. But when I moved here, I got a puppy, and puppies need attention and exercise. So I dabbled with running, and she got me into it, and and so here we are.
That's so cool. So you grew up in Colorado,
Yeah.
and then what brought you here? School?
Actually, work. I went to my undergrad in Walla Walla, Washington.
Okay.
Studied mathematics, pure mathematics, and while I did 2 summer internships in Maryland, I met my now husband, who is doing a graduate version of the same math internship, and he's from Avon here, close to Rochester.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got recruited by the Air Force Research Lab in Rome, New York. So I lived there for a year while I worked with them, and now I'm back in grad school in Rochester.
At RIT?
Mm-hmm.
The reason I know that is because it says it on your Skype name or
Ooh.
your Zoom name. RIT student. And you're getting your master's graduate degree?
Actually, I'm a 4th-year PhD student.
All right. Well, that was my next guess. In math?
Mathematical modeling. I study deep learning for computer vision.
Okay.
It's very different from my running brain.
Yes. Well, you're an example of like kids that should learn the tangent line. I mean, rather than me having nightmares about the tangent line and only remembering like Sokotoa from class, you're someone that actually needs it. So here, everybody, we found someone you knew need math outside of high school.
That's so funny you talk about tangent lines. I remember that. I have to pay attention to an abstraction of that called tangent spaces.
Okay.
They're helpful in being able to do calculus on manifolds rather than generic, the XY plane, which is very simple.
That's so cool. And I always see you hiking with Laura on the weekends. So they don't have you chained to the desk, I guess. So what is like the application of your work?
There are tons. Let's see. So an example that I have worked with before is object tracking in video. So it's necessary to, if say you have an image of someone holding a tennis ball and they're moving it around the screen, and you want to be able to automatically track where that tennis ball is going, you need a way to take each subsequent image in a video. So a video is just a sequence of photos, really, right? Sequence of images, and in each of those images, you need to detect where that tennis ball is, and then in each subsequent one, be able to basically track where it's going and be able to say, oh, the tennis ball in this image is the same as the one in that image, and I'm going to track it around. And it gets harder when you have multiple objects going on. The classic example of the type of research that I do is actually image classification. So for instance, if you do a Google search for husky, you'll get a bunch of images of huskies, right? And the reason that you're getting back images of huskies isn't just because there's metadata in the websites that those images are pulled from that says, oh, this is an image of a husky. It's because there's an actual algorithm that's being applied to those images that says, oh, here's a box, and in this box, it's a dog, and I'm going to classify that dog as a husky, and then I'm going to return it back to you in this search engine. Yeah. Another application would be self-driving cars. So self-driving cars need to know when it's looking at a stop sign, right? So
Gotcha. A little bit of, is it, some of it, is it AI a little bit?
AI is a very broad term. So I'd call it a hierarchy. What I do is within AI, there's AI, and then machine learning is part of AI, and then what I do is deep learning, which is a subcategory of machine learning.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know a little bit about it, but on a very basic level.
Yeah,
Most
go
of
ahead.
the thing that I like when you talk about algorithms, especially now, I just think of like how they know, like how also like uh, search engines or even like something like YouTube, like what you might want to watch this, and how scary it is when like it's not regulated, because then even if say I like want to watch trail running, eventually it'll get to something like not really close to trail running that actually is like a conspiracy theory or something crazy. I started listening to this podcast called Rabbit Hole, and they
Mhm.
talk about how like actually the YouTube algorithm can like turn, and actually does tend to turn people more like conspiracy, like right wing conservative, like yeah, because of their algorithm. Because like if they just keep playing YouTube on repeat, it eventually goes to like those obscure videos, and it's pretty insane.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't. That's the only thing I know about AI. Not great. And iRobot, all those things.
iRobot, quintessential.
Anyway, so back to running. You started running 5 years ago. How old are you?
I turned 28 2 days ago.
Oh well, happy late birthday. I'm 28 too, and
Oh,
I manage CTB, so we're similar AI. I get
sure.
that. So how did you get involved with the Rochester running community?
It was me being brand new to this area, and as an introvert, I tend to like be kind of shy, and it's hard for me to. Well, I shouldn't say it's hard. I feel uncomfortable reaching out to people. So I forced myself to do so by like I was a year into running, and I'd only ever done it by myself, and I was afraid to run with anybody because of course I would slow them down, was the narrative that I gave myself. So I just walked into Medved, the local running store, and asked them about shoes and asked them about running groups, and I joined their training group. So I was with them for like or a couple years of every week, multiple times a week, and I met new people, and through those people I met other people, and now I feel like I'm ingrained in the running community here, and it makes me warm and fuzzy, and I love them all.
Yeah, I talked about it so many times on this show, just how wonderful the Rochester running community is.
So welcoming.
What was your first race?
My first race, I think, was the Feast of Burden 5 miler. It's a road race on Thanksgiving here at the Blue Cross Arena.
Okay. And how many road races did you do until you decided just to do trails?
2.
What was the
I
second?
did that one, and then I ran my first marathon at Wineglass.
Okay. Katie's first marathon was Wineglass as well.
I knew that. Yeah, we've talked about that before.
It's a good one. I haven't done it yet, but it seems fast.
It's very fast. It's net downhill and very gradual. You just go.
What was your time?
I think it was my first one, so I just kind of picked a group and stuck with them. But I think it was 3:43 for my first one.
Nice. How
But
many marathons have you done?
2, one road, one trail. You were at the trail. It was Tom B.
Oh yeah, good times.
I
That
was.
was nice.
It was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I would have won if Ian didn't show up, that jerk. But I think Pete Kresak thought the same thing about me.
Probably.
Like, you and Ian signed up like 2 days ago. I had this in the bag. I was like, sorry. Whatever. Um, oh geez, I lost my train of thought. What? So you done like Muddy Sneaker, and so if this is your first 50 miler, your first 50K was
Green Lakes. last year.
Oh,
You were also there.
oh my gosh. I think I knew that, didn't I? Think we talked after the race.
I think so, yeah.
Because
Or
Greta
right
was
before.
there.
We chatted right before.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I had seen you and we ran together. And then I told you about Chris's podcast, and you're like, "You have a podcast?" And I was just like, "How do you not know he has a podcast? Doesn't he sound like he has a podcast?"
That's why. And now I've heard like all of his episodes, so it's fine.
Oh, sure, yeah, they're great. Like I mean, some of them are re-listenable. Have you listened to the last one?
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 hours long.
It's ridiculous.
It was great.
It's road trip material.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then afterwards, like I just texted Mike Weldon immediately, like, dude, what is all this? I haven't heard from him in so long because of pandemic and just life. Yeah. And we used to talk like every day, so it's just not a bad way. It's just life happens, and he's doing amazing things apparently in Rochester, so he's fine. It's just yeah, it was great to hear from all of them. So you're not doing Twisted Branch. Do you want to run 100 miles?
Maybe someday. It does appeal to me, but not that much. Well, mostly because I like the idea of doing things I'm not really sure that I can pull off. This 50 miler was that experience for me. I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it because I'd never tried it before, and it was going to be freaking hot. So, so I like that.
Signed up 2 weeks before the race.
And that distance is, you have to have a really solid crew to help you. And I like that idea of gathering a team and spending 24 plus or minus something hours together and having those really tight knit relationships that you can do that. And I like that idea. Obviously, you don't need
for anyone before.
I have been a pacer. I paced Stephen Daly at last year's Twisted Branch for the last marathon distance, which was fantastic. So I got to help a little bit with the planning, but it was a wonderful experience, like almost better than racing. It's so fun to crew.
Oh, that's cool. I've never crewed. I volunteered at races, but I've never crewed. I also so you think it's fun, would be fun to have people with you all day. I feel like what if I drop, or what if all these people wasted their day? That's my imposter syndrome. Whereas obviously the people that I would ask would love to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter if I finished or not. They just want to be involved. But it's more if I ask these people to do this and then I drop, or something bad happens, or they have to be there for 40 hours. I feel
as if you're letting them down.
Yeah, but I mean honestly, the people I know I would ask would be more than willing to do it, anybody that signs up for a 100-mile job is in it.
But I'm not looking on any near horizon.
So you're not looking for you're not going to use Cayuga as a build-up race to maybe your own 100-miler or something.
No, I have it in my head that I have this slow build happening where in 10 years I'm going to peak and do amazing things. Sure. But I can take my time doing that because
that's how I feel too.
For me, it's about a lifestyle rather than these tiny, almost really one day events that in the grand scheme of things don't mean a whole lot.
Yeah.
So my goal is to be able to do this for as long as I want to and not burn out or feel like I can't run when I'm 60 because I'm no longer fast. I don't want that to happen. I want to be happy running no matter what pace I am.
Sure.
So that's my mindset. It doesn't have to happen right away, but it would be cool someday to do those big things.
So your more big things is a distance rather than a PR or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry if you can hear my dog slurping water.
I can.
I think speed is fun. It's really fun to do my Wednesday workouts and things. But it's over too quickly. I like being out there all day because it's a long time to get to soak up the experience. So that's why the distance appeals to me more than the PRs.
Gotcha. Yeah, I completely identify with the slow, just like slow build approach. I don't have FOMO like at all. I think when I first started trail running, I did a little bit because I thought that's what people expected. But then when I finally started just doing what I wanted to do and doing what my body wanted to do, that's when I started to like enjoy it and have more success. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so I thought that I was going to be like ultra running and doing like a lot of trails and a lot of long stuff this past spring and summer. But, the pandemic hit, and then I just really was like, I really just want to spend some time on the roads doing the fast stuff. Like, and the great thing is like my coach is just a lot of it is effort, but I can tell each week I am getting a little faster. And
Right.
I don't have a race on the calendar. Like my long run is 85 minutes. So it's just like a slow build. And I also really don't want to do anything that could jeopardize running right now. Like I don't want to do a huge event that then my body is broken for like a month. Like that would just be awful. So I think, and that's just filling me up right now too with work and everything. It's just, it's what's fun. And I think that's really neat. Like you are just following what seems to be fun.
Yeah. And I feel very tuned into that mindset of making sure that first and foremost, this is about the routine, the moment that you're in the moment on the day that you're out. And it's for your well-being on that day. I feel like I need this for my mental health, really. And and I really don't want to burn out and try to do huge things too quickly, because I'd really like to respect what my body is telling me. I mean, it's only been 5 years. I haven't had all the years that's required to build up a strong aerobic base. And it feels really good to not put too much pressure on yourself for events, and have first and foremost it be all about the daily grind and just enjoying that.
Yeah, it's so wonderful to hear you and Katie yesterday, and I think that's how my mindset is. I think that especially in this pandemic, but even just in general, like I think that there's a lot of one-upmanship or like humble bragging or all that stuff. And I think that's like I quit Strava like 3 years ago for the reason that like it was like fucking with my mind. Like it was like I could have like a great workout and then see something else and automatically like just I hadn't done enough work on my mental health maybe, and just like it would automatically, but I don't even think it's that, because people who don't have mental health issues, they even like will see something and automatically it like makes whatever they did not as cool, when that's not true. Whatever you're running, so that's cool in itself. And I think it's really refreshing to hear like from you and from Katie, and now that's how I am. And just that enjoying that ride, man. You don't need to do like the farthest thing or the fastest thing, or like I did a 20-miler and every mile I ate a donut, or like whatever stupid stuff just to get notoriety or attention. And I think that it's all about finding like what motivates you on the inside, and then giving it your best effort. Like when you've given it your effort. And it like Strava isn't going to say that, or like posting it on something isn't going to say that. You're going to know inside. And so when is like an event or a run or some instance in your running journey where you didn't give it your best effort and you knew, and just you like, what's some example of
that? Where I didn't give it my best effort?
Yeah, like maybe a race or a run or something wasn't going like super good. I guess you're still relatively new, and I don't take it that you race all the time, but like where you gave up on yourself.
I haven't had very many occasions where that's happened, but I think that one that I can think of would actually be this summer. So it was early in the summer where we had like a week of freezing temperatures in May, and then all of a sudden it was really, really hot. So that's no time at all for the body to acclimate. But I went to the Adirondacks, and I decided to just take the dog and camp overnight, and then do my long run on the Northville Placid Trail. And it was misery, absolute misery. And I kept pushing myself because I thought that it would be cowardly to quit. And so I just kept going until I was done. But it was so bad, and I felt so miserable, and sweaty and awful and achy. That like afterwards, I got back to my campsite and I brought a hammock, my favorite thing, and I crawled in it in the fetal position and I slept for 2 hours straight. and, and I don't know what the moral of that story is, but it's definitely one where I probably was not true to my needs at the time, and I regret that. But I also forgive myself easily for that kind of thing.
I think I'm always straddling the line between listening to, like, is my body really in need of something, or am I just being a wimp? And it's really hard. Like, I'm struggling with it right now. Like, I have, after tomorrow, I have 4 days off, and I'm struggling with, and I've been tired. I've been worn down. Not upset. I'm not sad, upset. I don't feel any like bad emotions, or there aren't any bad emotions. I don't feel any like bad feelings, or I don't feel depression. I just can tell I'm worn out. And the way that my body tells me that, because I'm a grinder, so it's like sometimes I'm like, well, this too shall pass. It's fine, whatever. Is I have an outbreak of shingles that is just finally healing right now. Yeah, that's how my body tells me, because I don't just think like, oh, I'm worn down, I should like rest more. Like, I do know that, but it just sometimes just doesn't happen. Life happens, so I can't be a parent. I wouldn't rest. I wouldn't sleep at all. And so now I have 4 days off, and I am tired. Like I told you, my brain is feeling mush. But I also am like, well, and the reason I took 4 days off was really just so that I had no responsibilities for 4 days. I'm not going anywhere, not doing anything cool. I'm not seeing anyone. I'm just chilling. And I'm grappling with, like, am I going to take 4 days off from running too? Because I could, and I don't feel bad. Like, I never will feel bad for taking rest days, but also I love running so much that it's like, what do I do? So I'm kind of like still grappling with, I think I'm just still grappling with what will be rest and what will be like, I want to just spend these days doing what I love. So it's just it's something that I'm still, like trying to honor my body, but then also like, I want to do fun things too.
That's such a nuanced challenge. So, I mean, I am very good at ignoring any discomfort in a short term. So I are in favor of feeling, oh, I can get through this. I just have to get to the end and it'll be fine. Pain is temporary. Like, any pain is fine so long as it's temporary. So I have I have a history with an eating disorder. 7 years ago, I spent a summer in residential treatment, and so I have been very familiar with being able to take on the mindset of, it's okay to be miserable. It makes me strong. I'm just going to keep going. And because of that past and owning it and learning from it and using trail running as my healing, because it puts you in such a close relationship with your body and what it's telling you, it's been my number one kind of challenge and also priority to be able to take on those nuanced questions and like, is this just a challenge that's going to make me stronger in the end, or really is it something that I need to back down, take a rest day, and listen?
Yeah, and especially now, I think, like, I don't have a race. I'm not missing anything.
Yeah.
And so I really like, and I really have been like preparing my mindset, like, Ellie, just be okay with just taking these 4 days, like, and I am okay with it. Like, I would tell anybody that, and I tell myself that, but then, I wake up in the morning and I'm like, yeah, it's fine, just a few easy miles. So it's going to be it's nuanced. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean, yeah, it's just very like so runner and also just so like it's self-care. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I hate that word, but like,
Yeah. Well, it's very confusing to be also engrossed in training literature, because you hear both sides of that in very emphasized ways, like the importance of rest, the importance of recovery, and the importance of listening to when you need to back down, but then also, you know, feeling challenged and pushing through it. And that also being incredibly important, being able to do that. So telling the difference between the two is a very confusing task.
yes. And normally it's like, and the way I have always done it is like, someone translate. Hello. The way I've always done it is like I always take permission to bail. So like I'll put on my shoes and I'll start, but I always say like permission to bail if it's not happening. And I haven't had any of those like I think I should bail on this for a while, and I just am wondering like, is it coming? I keep like maybe it's coming, maybe it's today, maybe it's
You
and and the thing is like I know that if I do have to bail, I'm gonna give myself grace. Like, it's not, I don't think about it. I'm not gonna stew about it. Um, yeah, but still, it's just like I will never pretend to have all the answers. So I do not have the answer to like when should I not run and when should I run? Because I mean, I've been lucky in the past like 2 years, knock on wood. I haven't dealt with any injury that like has been laid off. I think it's like, my growth as a runner and being smarter about things. And so I'm just like, well, if it's not an injury, I mean, I can't, but rest is so important. And I mean, maybe talking to you is just like the reminder, like, I think you should just take a couple rest days.
you could give yourself permission to bail on that plan too. So
That's
you could think,
true. That's
all
true.
right,
I wake up and I'm
I
just like,
4 days off. I'm going to take 2 days off of running, and if I want to bail on this rest marathon, I'm allowed to do that.
I mean, yeah, I like permission to bail is like I need to get a shirt that says that. Cause like, so another thing is like I tend toward a plant-based diet. Like, I was vegan for a while. I'm not anymore. But I do my best, but the past like 2 weeks, especially during the shingles, I've craved meat, and I don't know why, because I normally think it's disgusting. But I was like, all right, after like trying to ignore it for a week, I was like, maybe I just need like, and it's not like I was like steak like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but I was like, maybe I should just have like a little bit of it. And so for the past couple days, I've just done like a little bit. It's not like I'm binging on meat or I want it anymore. It's more like maybe my body just kind of wanted it. And so permission to bail on the like plant-based diet for a second, okay? So I just, and giving myself grace with that too, Oh geez, this has turned into like Ellie therapy. It's supposed to be about let's talk about
Happy to help.
so what's next for you? Like, what do you have anything planned next, or any are you gonna try to do like Summit Twisted Branch or 100K in August, or what's up?
I have not made a plan yet. I'm sure I'll want to do something just because I love being out there and doing that. Um, I don't I will not do something like trying to emulate the race. That won't happen
I mean, you got
because
Laura Howard, you would get through it.
well, it doesn't matter that I would be able to get through it or not in this case, because I feel like I would go out wishing that I had the whole festival experience with those amazing aid stations and amazing community and crew and everything, but then it won't be there, and it'll make me incredibly sad. So if I do something, I think it'll be my own crafted adventure. Like, I don't know, taking a stab at the 50 miles around Cranberry Lake in the Adirondacks or something like that. And that could happen. It's likely, very likely, because I like to have things to look forward to. Not that I need them. I was not really disappointed when all the races started getting canceled.
No.
Because I don't need that motivation to train. In fact, I just started running more because it I had the extra, I saved commute time by working at home, so more time to run. But still, it's kind of fun to look forward to things too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll soon be planning my next thing, but having just did the Saranac Sixer Challenge this past weekend, which was like 30 miles of hiking in a day, I'm taking a little bit of a break.
I think you should. I think you should. And so, you know what? I think that's a good place to transition into a little game that I like to play at the end, which is called Ideal Aid Station.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Favorite salty snack?
Favorite salty snack has got to be. Oh, you're gonna get really weird answers from me.
That's okay. That's great.
Eggplant bacon.
Oh, and Many on the Jenny? Yes.
Actually, I've never been to Many on the Jenny. I would love to soon, but I love eggplant.
Yeah, they did that. Yeah, I don't like bacon, but I love that. It was like salty and great. All right, favorite sweet snack?
Favorite sweet snack? Anything ball shaped. So I love those energy ball things that you can make at home or buy anywhere. And it's like dates and nuts.
The nut thingies.
Like this past weekend, I made some minty balls and I brought them along. And I made some like golden milk balls for the Cayuga race.
Oh, yeah.
But they're always sweet because you put maple syrup in them and dates.
Yeah.
And,
I haven't been forever. Oh, so good. Mm-hmm. Favorite hot food?
Oh, nothing hot sounds good right now.
I know.
Favorite hot food is going to be roasted Brussels sprouts.
Okay. At your aid station?
No, not at my aid station.
Okay, come on. This is called Ideal Aid Station for a reason.
At an aid station, it's gonna be chili.
Chili. Yeah, I was gonna say, let's think back to Frozen Branch here. Favorite sports drink?
Does Scratch count?
Yes.
Okay, I like Scratch.
Because the next one is favorite non-sports drink.
Green tea.
Okay.
Like even at an aid station, like I would bring tea with me when I was doing long runs in the snow.
I drink hot tea every morning, even when it's like hot out. Like I'll be making my tea, and my roommate is like, "You just been going strong with that. It's like 90 degrees." That's why I eat cold breakfast.
Kudos.
And then favorite piece of gear or item at an aid station, like that you would like to have waiting for you if you needed it.
Fly tape.
Oh,
those suckers are terrible. So just slap a piece of tape on the back of my head, let them stick to it and die, and feel better.
Yes, I love that because I hate flies. And then favorite celebrity or famous person that you would want at your aid station to greet you, or they could even run a couple miles with you, assuming they could hold your pace, assuming they were runners. They don't have to be, but celebrity or person.
Scott Jurek, easily.
Oh yes, he's wonderful, and he could bring you the energy balls.
I know.
It's like the OG energy ball.
Yeah, I would marry him in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah. Have you read all his books?
Yes.
They're great.
Yeah.
Him and Jenny. Oh.
Power couple.
So beautiful.
So beautiful, and that Minnesota kindness.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this episode, Sophie. I cannot wait to put it out. You are awesome, and thank you for, the little therapy session we had for me here too.
What a pleasure.
It's wonderful. All right, well, I will talk to you, and you know what? I might check in with you a couple times over my couple days of rest here, and we'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Have a wonderful time with that.
And you have a wonderful night. Thanks, Sophie.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.